Holy crap! You just stumbled into a movie marathon. It's October, and that means we are kicking off our first ever Mega Movie Monster Mania to celebrate our favorite time of the year. Jason and I are breaking down as many movies as we can and really digging deep to find some oddities to ramp it up for Halloween. And this is just part one. So grab your popcorn, some Scooby snacks, and then stick it in your ear holes.
And how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop?
I think it's 3.
The world may never know.
At least when an owl licks it. The less said about that, the better.
Hey, but the way this is going to be set up, it looks like that for the next 2 weeks, we can do this Toyota-thon.
That's a placeholder name.
Right.
But the idea of Toyotathon and what we're doing lines up pretty well. We're going to try to sell you some real clunkers, and we're going to call it entertainment.
I had a couple of names picked out here for
let's hear them.
Megaton Monster Mayhem.
Ooh, I love Megaton.
That sounded like monster trucks. Really, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. You know what? I sat down and watched a little bit of Monster Trucks. Did you know there's a movie called Monster Trucks?
Yeah. And why?
It's pretty much as you would. I mean, I don't know.
But there's an actual monster in the truck, right?
Yeah.
Or the truck is a monster.
Unclear from what I watched. I think the truck was a truck and the monster was kind of like Flubber, you know. It was a real vehicle, but with some kind of gunky stuff on it.
Wasn't there an actual actor?
Yeah.
In that movie?
Yeah, it's not animated.
No. I mean,
it's a lot of CGI, but I see. I don't know. I don't know who that dude was. I don't know who any of those people were. As a matter of fact,
I typed in Monster Truck and got Rolling Vengeance, which I think would be a better movie.
Is that the movie with William Devane? No, it's Rolling Thunder. Man, have you ever seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it's pretty dark. Hey, I got something that if I don't bring it up now, I think I will forget it by the next time that we do this. And if we're just going to do a collection of movies for the next few weeks we've got to have some just random IMDb bullshit. We'll come up with a name for that by the end of this podcast. But,
do you mean the random bullshit?
Yeah, the random I mean, that is a pretty good name right out of the gate. But
that's what I'm like, didn't you just name it?
I think I just did. Did you know there was a Superboy TV show in, I want to say I got to look it up real quick. Late 80s?
No.
Early 90s, maybe?
1988?
Yeah, it did not do well. Although it was
on for 4 seasons.
That blows my mind. Was it on a cooking network or something? Or how did I got? But anyway, yeah, it's got Gerard Christopher, who, I mean, that name sounds familiar, and he does look familiar. But I think he was just on a soap opera or something.
It says General Hospital, yeah.
Right. But anyway, he's Clark Kent from 89 to 92. I mean, there's a whole...
That's 74 episodes.
The only reason I even saw it was because I was looking up Stuart Whitman to see what else he was in, and I think he plays his dad, his Earth dad.
Okay.
Only reason I bring it up is because they have Michael J. Pollard playing Mr. Mitzelplix.
Okay.
Which is the best casting in film history. There is a picture There's a still of the show with him in that gear with that little bowler kind of tilted sideways. That is, I would watch a show just about that, about him. So anyway, this show that I've never even fucking heard of, and
it just derailed you for about an hour.
Yep, and I wanted other people to know about it too.
Now I got to see Michael J. Pollard in that bowler hat.
I like seeing him in those old, because he was in some movies. You know, he was in Bonnie and Clyde, and you know, some westerns, and of course Tango and Cash and Scrooged. Anyway, I like him a lot. That's it.
Is that him right there? There he is. It's oh my god! That is an outfit.
Yeah, he's got his belt right at his nipples for easy access. Hey, Michael J. Pollard passed away last year.
Yes, he will be missed.
Yep.
Now I was just looking at Gerard Christopher. It's just again two first names.
Yeah. And he's one of those guys that like has just permanent stubble somehow. He's got his like trimmer set up to where it's just like always a 5 o'clock shadow.
It looks like he was the love interest in Tomboy.
What is Tom?
If you remember Tomboy, it was the girl mechanic on the cover. It was Betsy Russell. You don't remember this at all. That's okay.
Nipsey Russell, is that what you said?
Nipsey Russell.
I don't remember that.
If you saw the cover, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Did I ever watch it? Probably not.
Now I'm going to watch it just to prove you wrong.
Okay. You'd be like, it's the best movie ever.
Oh my God, Tim, you have no idea.
I'm sorry. Now I'm stuck on Bandit.
I don't know. Is that a Michael J. Pollard movie?
No, that has Gerard Christopher in it.
Oh my God. Quit saying Gerard, by the way.
I can't help it.
Remember that singer Gerard, or wasn't his name Gerard?
Sure.
Oh man.
But Bandit was directed and written by Hal Needham.
Okay, great.
Brian Krause is in it.
Okay.
Richard Belzer.
Oh man. That's it.
Amy Dolenz. John Snyder.
You're reeling me in.
But it's Bandit: Bandit.
What? I don't even know if that. How many movies do you think there are that are just 3 words repeated? Because I can think of a couple. There's Tora Tora Tora.
Yeah, that's good. That's all I can think of.
That's it. Okay, just get rid of those tabs.
All right, that's closed. New format for these next 2 weeks. This is leading us right into Halloween.
We got to cram in as many real horror movies as we can.
Real horror movies. And I'm actually going towards stuff that I don't remember or I haven't seen.
Holes in your movie vocabulary?
Yeah, just going for some oddball stuff that may or may not be connected. Hey, how about Mega Monster Mayhem?
Mega Monster Mayhem.
Or Mega Monster Mania?
Well, you're drilling down on the monster thing, and not all of mine are going to have actual monsters in them.
Well, and now aren't most monsters actually people?
I guess. I mean, I guess you could.
All right, I'll let you in why I was going towards that, because I just wanted to say, I wanted to go with the 3M. You know, 3M.
Yeah, oh.
Harvesting today's children for a better tomorrow.
Exactly.
3M.
Turning kids into tape. Is that how that works?
Sure.
Melting them down.
Let's get this started and say, well, welcome to the 3M moratorium.
Moratorium?
Moratorium.
Before we do another podcast, we need to really...
Is this thing on?
Hello. Edit all that out.
All right.
That was a brain fart.
Today I'll be your host, Tim Kornman.
Today you will, finally. You have been the host for several of these.
Really? I don't recall. Are we any good?
I have no idea. I mean, how do you really...
Caller on the line, how good are we?
We need callers.
Yeah. Random people buzzing in.
Mm-hmm. That would just be...
Introduce yourself already, goddammit.
Oh, hi, I'm Jason Walker. Did you say the name of the podcast yet?
Yeah.
You said Moratorium. I'm really excited about this one because it's a...
Is it No Holds Barred?
That is kind of a horror movie. And Hulk Hogan is kind of a monster. He's a classic. He's like Bane with doll's hair.
He always had thinning hair.
I think I've said that before. I should stop attacking him about his hair. It is weird, but I don't have to bring it up all the time.
Well, like I said, I watched 4 different movies that are not necessarily connected.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All of the horror genre?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you go outside the horror genre?
No. I'm just drawing the line between, like, was it a thriller or a,
Well, I mean, I've got a little bit of gore,
crap.
got a little bit of slasher, got a little bit more slasher, and I don't know what to call the last one.
Ooh. I've got a couple of those. I'm like, I don't know exactly where this falls. Well, you go first. How about? I was going to ask you if you wanted to flip a coin, but you're already talking about them.
Well, the first movie that I watched, and I actually had to go back because I tried to cram all these in, and I couldn't remember which one I watched first. I'm like, I should have kept better notes. I was like, I have no idea what it was, but this is one that we've talked about. We've kicked around some of the actors in it, but I watched The Willies.
The Willies.
The Willies. Because, one, I didn't remember anything but the monster.
Exactly. Or like the VHS box.
Yeah, I mean, it shows the monster holding a lantern while, I guess, creeping on a couple of kids that were camping out.
Yeah. Also, he looks pretty friendly.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't... I'm not instantly terrified of this thing. He sort of looks like one of the dinosaurs in Dinosaurs, the TV show,
Yeah, I can get that. It reads, 2 brothers camping with their cousin try to frighten each other by telling stories. That's really, it's got more, but I'm not going to read all of it. The setup for that, I didn't know they were cousins. If I wouldn't have read that, I wouldn't have known. It's like they had never met before. And they are just hanging out in a tent, and you have no real setting. Are they in somebody's backyard? Are they out in the woods?
Right.
We don't really know. I think later we find out they're like in a barn.
Okay.
Camping out in a tent in a barn. Anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of
weird. It was weird. But it's
like putting a little house in a big house.
And it's a cool little anthology type. Do you remember this at all?
If I saw it, it was so long ago that it is completely... No, okay. I don't remember any of it.
It's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. And it has Sean Astin, who's the main kid telling the stories. Has Joshua John Miller in it. And he was about 16 when this came out. This actually came out in 1990.
Oh, wow.
And
so I've never seen him, I don't think, at that age.
So it starts off like a couple of little short stories. What's grosser than gross? They're trying to gross each other out.
Cool.
But some of these real short stories just leading up to, I think, 2 main large stories. But it's pretty cool. And we brought this up before because Bill Irwin, who plays Old Man in the film, he goes to ride a horror ride at a carnival and basically gets scared to death. I think that's where we talked about Doug Benson. He plays a zombie in the film, and you said this is Doug Benson's like first role or something like that.
I think so. I think he was also in I think he was in a Michael Jackson video, like a music video, maybe?
Sure.
And I think that's probably the one that he's most proud of. But.
No, it looks like he was in Moonlighting.
Really?
Yeah, he was a Blue Moon office worker. That was his first role.
Oh my God. Now I have to find that.
That episode is called Camille, if you want to look it up.
Okay, cool.
So Bill Irwin's riding this little ride thing, and I think Doug Benson is one of the monsters. He's a zombie, just scaring the patrons.
Gotcha.
In this ride, it's hard to tell if it was him or not. It was strange because they're just quick and they have makeup on. You really can't tell.
Gotcha.
Anyway, Bill Irwin gets scared to death. You've got another little story about a woman who was eating at a chicken restaurant and didn't realize that it was in the shape of a rat. So she ends up eating some...
The restaurant?
No, not the restaurant. The chicken.
The chicken.
The piece of chicken was actually a deep fried rat, and she was eating. Yeah.
I just watched a guy eat a rat last night in the movie, one of the movies that I watched.
Oh, wow.
It was really gross. It would have grossed me out more, but they kind of screwed up the CGI when it happened. So I was like too concerned with that, but yeah, it was gross. Sorry, that's the only reason I brought it up.
Now I'm interested.
Bill Irwin looks like I could say boo to him and he would die of a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't think he needed the the ride.
And we brought him up before.
Yes.
He was in a ton of things.
He has 243 credits. We need to keep track of like who is the most that we've, because there's some of those old timers TV shows that, God, it's just amazing how much stuff they did.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, he's been in shit from the 50s up into the 2000s.
So, along with this cast is James Karen.
Yes.
Who actually, I mean, spoiler alert, I guess, is the monster in disguise.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah.
But he's also an actor in the show, or in one of the anthologies, too.
Yes.
I mean, you see his face.
Yes. I mean, he's a janitor.
Oh.
And he's Uncle Harry, who is there in his barn.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
Kind of comes back around. Lots of spoilers there, but, Hey, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's pretty cool. But it's written and directed by Brian Peck.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian Peck has...
Who knows James Karen?
Who has one writing and one directing credit, and this is it. But he starred in... Well, didn't star. I don't think he was a star. But he was in Return of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah. I don't know if I realized. I need to watch 3 again. It's been a long time.
I don't really remember 3 as well, but...
Yeah, he was Scuzz.
Yeah, he was Scuzz. But also, if you look down on the list for these kids that were in this... I failed to mention Clu Gulager was in this, by the way.
Oh, my. I thought that's where you were going with all of this.
Oh, all of it, yeah.
That was the big reveal, was that Clu Gulager was in it. I'm going to expect that from now on.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should lead with that.
Please do. I'm looking at the last 2 credits for the Willies, and that is this a crossover event?
For the Seavers?
Yes.
Actually, if you look at Brian Peck, he was in Growing Pains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he actually played like 7 different characters, maybe it looks like.
It's weird when they do that.
Yeah.
Is he just a friend of the family or some kid that lived down the street or something?
He was special effects guy, audition doofus.
Oh, what am I thinking? He's in his 20s or something during that time.
Concerned passenger, pizza guy, photographer, dream stage manager.
He looks like a pizza guy.
So he just kept playing different characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you look down there, so you've got the Seavers are actually in there. Kirk
Tracy
Cameron
Gold.
and Tracy Gold, and I don't know who that must have been playing on the TV or something. Just something strange.
Oh, I see. That's why they have a credit.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. But then he actually was, and I see.
Right. But in the story with the janitor becoming a monster, or is a monster in disguise, there's a kid that's being picked on and pushed around, and one of the bullies is Jeremy Miller. Jeremy Miller, he played Ben Seaver on Growing Pains.
Oh, okay.
So
Ben.
Everything's connected.
That's it. I'm sorry guys, if you're on acid or shrooms while you're listening to this, that probably just blew your teeth out the back of your head.
It wasn't the drugs.
It was the drop of all of this knowledge. We're in conspiracy theory territory now.
Oh, and later I've got more connections that go to this movie. There's a girl named Kimmy Robertson who is playing the ride operator. She just has a real short thing where everybody's getting off of the horror ride, and she's like, "Please watch your step," and she's got this real squeaky voice. Enjoy your day. And she finds the old man dead.
I gotcha. Does she scream?
I'm not sure if she screams or not, because it kind of like opens the whole film kind of like that. But Kimmy Robertson is, you already see where I'm going there?
Yes.
She was Lucy Moran in Twin Peaks.
I love her so much. She was such a big part of that show. I mean, she had a small part, but I mean, because Twin Peaks is real, not tongue-in-cheek, it's just like a Coen Brothers movie. Every character is so, like, you know, idiosyncratic, and she is one of them. Her voice, I would know her voice anywhere.
Yeah, you cannot mistake her voice.
No, or her looks. She's very cute. She kind of reminds me of, who's the girl that was on SNL?
That's what I was trying to think of her name.
Gosh.
That's who I thought it was when I heard the voice.
Yeah, she looks very similar. Oh, great. I don't even know. Can you think of a movie she was in? Was she in UHF? She was in something.
She was in something.
We'll
table that. We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
We have way too many people to talk about.
Yes.
So the rest of the Willies was a lot of fun. It really was. It was
cool,
cute, and it's pretty safe for, I'm sure it had to be like PG-13.
Right. And I love Sean Astin's pretty much good in anything. I'm a big Joshua John Miller fan. I really need to watch everything that he's been in. He has such an interesting career. I just want to know what his parents are like.
Yeah.
Why did he pop out just completely? He's like an adult when he's a preteen.
Yep, the son of actor Jason Miller and Sue Bernard. That's why he turned out the way he is. Because of Jason.
Gotcha.
Sue Bernard, 14 credits. Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, 1965. Necromancy, 1972.
I don't know that.
Interesting. Orson Welles plays the head of Witches' Coven in a town of Lilith.
Okay.
Interesting.
Duly noted. I'm still looking at Kimmy Robertson's her IMDb page.
Yeah, I'll circle back around to her after a little bit, because I've got a connection, but I'm going to make it my third movie that I'll make that connection to. I could make it. It doesn't matter what order I go in.
Really calling your shots.
Yeah, I'm calling my shots.
This is your podcast. You're not getting kicked off, or there's no contest at the end.
So anyway, Willie's, a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you got for me? Let's roll right into your first pick. Okay.
Well, maybe we might have to kind of circle back to yours eventually, because mine's kind of like I just have a theme, kind of an overall,
like monster, or
yes, or
slasher, or
yes, which I have all this.
Alien.
I'm really, when we decided that we were going to do this, it was kind of tough to decide what I wanted to do, because I do want to do monsters, or and I mean legit monsters, somebody with a suit on, like Godzilla or something.
Okay.
But anyway. But I was already kind of looking at this and had taken a bunch of notes. So I was just like, you know what? I'm feeling really lazy. I'll just be on coast, and I'll just cover this. But I want to talk about the sub-genre of found footage movies.
Mm-hmm.
And probably one of at least the one that completely just blew the doors open for hundreds of movies that were made, influenced by this movie, which, the Blair Witch Project, which you and I have seen. I mean, we used to be roommates, and we've watched this movie together, I don't know, I'm going to say 33 times.
That sounds like a good round number.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with it for a while.
God, it just came out at the perfect time. You know, it was like, it came out at the very beginning of, you know, really everybody having internet in their homes, you know, just right at the, you know, turn of the century. And the filmmakers were just so smart about I mean, there was a giant marketing campaign that I don't know how much they had to contribute to that. But I was going to ask you, I don't really remember. I know that I think Sci-Fi Channel had a lot of the, you know, they would run commercials and trailers for it and stuff. But I think that there was a special that was on Sci-Fi Channel about it, you know, before it came out.
Yes.
I guess Sci-Fi Channel was just basically like the only thing around for, you know, you had to go there to get like horror movies and stuff.
Yeah, that was about the only thing we had.
Right.
But yeah, that was called the Curse of the Blair Witch, and it was 44 minutes long.
Yes, which was included on the DVD. You know, even DVDs then were still sort of, I mean, I don't know how long, man, I don't know, think about that, but like, you know, we had the DVD and that documentary, that mockumentary was on there. And I think I watched that probably more than the movie. It was so well done.
And I saw it before I saw the movie.
Right. Yes. I might have to.
I don't remember. I don't think I saw this at the theater.
No.
And I should have, but it probably would have made me sick too with the big screen and found footage jerky camera business.
You're not good with POV.
Oh, I have a hard time looking through my glasses and walking down the street.
Yeah, you're playing a video game every time you go out and do something. I think somebody with sticky fingers might have gotten a hold of a screener of this somehow. I'm not for sure. I don't want to get anybody in trouble that used to work at a movie store or anything, but who knows? But, and by the way, this is not the first found footage movie. It's just the first one in the like internet era, where, God, this has to be one of the most successful movies ever.
Oh yeah.
Because it
was made on nothing.
It was made for like $15,000. I got the numbers somewhere. I think it was made for $15,000, which just seems... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm getting that mixed up with them. Okay, it was made for $60,000.
There we go.
And made $248 million.
And freaking incredible.
Yeah, that's just insane. But, you know, that really changed. I mean, just the way it was shot, and, I mean... It's so lo-fi and so low budget, but they really managed to make it scary, you know? Yeah. I mean, there are some scenes in it that are just, and they really don't show you anything. It's just kind of ratcheting up the tension. And I mean, the actors, there's only 3 actors, you know, in the main part of the movie, and they were just in on it, you know, in on the thing and wanted to, you know, that's a big part of it.
Yeah. It says here in the trivia that it took 8 days to film.
God, can you imagine that?
That's crazy. And it was just them wandering around the woods.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, Evil Dead, and I mean, there are better movies that basically did the same thing, but I don't know. They just kind of caught on to something, and it's perfect, you know? And also, like, I think it has to do with like reality TV, and we were kind of getting to this right during that time where all this stuff, and there's no Blair Witch. There's nothing. I mean, no wonder they
just freaked each other out, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's all what you're not seeing, you know. And the stories about the, you know, filmmakers. It's directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez, and I think, did Eduardo Sanchez not do...
The Dirty Sanchez?
He has a story in VHS 2.
I loved VHS, by the way. I don't remember part 2 as much.
Right. But VHS, it wouldn't exist without Blair Witch. You know, it's basically the same. It's an anthology, but they're using a lot of the same tricks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that kind of like shaky cam, that style, it allows for a lot cheaper special effects. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I was kind of watching like the end of that one story in VHS is like, you know, who knows what the real like kind of practical effects and stuff look like, but there's so many layers of like static and, you know, those little tracking lines and stuff that it's made it, you know, kind of disguised maybe some cheap special effects and ended up making it even creepier.
I love that. Hearing some more of the trivia there, though, the sign for Burkittsville at the beginning of the movie has been stolen 3 times.
Yeah, I'm sure. Gosh, I've forgotten all that. You know, I didn't watch the making of it. I just kind of watched I didn't really watch the movie because I have it memorized. I've seen it 1,000 times.
How about to promote discord between the actors, the directors deliberately gave them less food each day of shooting.
Okay, that's getting a little... It's getting a little weird. You need to make a movie about them making that movie. I've never seen this. There's kind of like alternate there. Well, there's just screenshots of the movie, but I've never seen that. The one where Mike, the Mike is the Mike guy. There's one of him like strung up kind of Evil Dead style with, you know, like branches and rope, and they must have kind of experimented with a couple of different things because, like I said, there's no monster or anything. It's just kind of like a urban legend, you know. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure they had to play around with the ending. You know, I enjoyed it. I thought it was very creepy.
But it said it took 8 months to edit.
Yeah, they just shot everything.
Yeah. And the first cut of the movie was 2.5 hours long.
Wow. I don't think I could put up with that much.
Yeah, no. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I think I would vomit.
Yeah. And it's got a good runtime, too, I think. It doesn't go, I mean, because, you know, they're lost in the woods, and that doesn't really go on too long. You know, it moves along pretty quickly. All those weird locals that they talk to, like the fur lady, you know, the fur.
It's kind of a fur.
That added so much to it, you know.
The film uses the word fuck 154 times.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was watching a movie last night. I was watching Grave Encounters.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
I think you will really dig it. It really plays on, again, it just takes this formula and just tweaks it a little bit and is something completely different than Blair Witch, you know. It's about a reality show about it's kind of aping and making fun of, what's one of those
like
stupid
ghost hunters
yes.
or ghost vacationers, whoever that guy is that has that stupid little mohawk thing.
Yeah. That
guy. I hate that guy.
Yeah. But anyway, Grave Encounters is that guy he's really trying to be, you know, that guy. He got a leather jacket and, you know, he's a little more likable. But anyway, they go to an asylum, of course. And they've got a medium there who is, you know, trying to speak to the dead. And it just keeps on kind of ratcheting it up. And the last half of the movie is just awesome.
Oh, cool.
So definitely, I don't want to spoil anything. So go and watch that.
That was 2011.
Yeah, it's sort of recent.
Yeah.
I guess I settled on found footage. And I watched probably 5 or 6 of them. And then if you look up, if I just typed in list of found footage films, there is a wiki page that, I mean, goes on for way longer than I thought. Like, there are tons of them.
List off some.
Well, then it starts kind of, you know, changing the way you think about like a found footage movie. I mean, technically, Cannibal Holocaust is one of the first found footage movies because it literally, they find those reels after the filmmakers go missing, then end up kind of, that movie is saying a lot of things that get kind of eclipsed by all the grossness and all the, I do not want to see that many animals killed. And they're all, it's all real. It's like kind of how Faces of Death sort of fleshed out its episodes. Just, kill a monkey or something. But
the last broadcast was actually before Blair Witch Project.
Technically.
We watched that one.
Yes, and there was a big stink about, did it steal, who came first, but turns out that it just wasn't anything. They just happened to simultaneously pick up on, I think that was the thing, is that those guys that made Blair Witch just fucking grabbed something and just ran with it before anybody else could, and because there's already another one, and we loved Last Broadcast.
I need to see it again.
Yeah. It's a little predictable, but it's a completely different story, really. I mean, they are kind of going after a local kind of urban legend, and parts of the story are the same.
But that was over the Jersey... the Jersey Devil.
Yeah. Spring Hill Jack or whatever. But yeah.
That's coffee, isn't it?
I was talking to my wife about it yesterday, and she's like, what are the Pine Barrens? And I just had to think about it. I was like, well, barren really just means like a desert, but pines implies that there's a lot of trees. So I don't know why it's called the pine. It sounds creepy, maybe. They do it just because it sounds creepy.
The New Jersey Pine Barrens is also known as Pine Lands, or simply the Pines, is the largest remaining example of the Atlantic Coast Pine Barrens ecosystem.
Well, then what's that?
Straight from Wikipedia.
Thanks, Wikipedia. You told me less than nothing. But anyway, if you think about Cannibal Holocaust being a found footage film, then a lot of other things kind of fall into that category too. Like, have you ever seen Man Bites Dog?
I saw that on the list here. No.
I believe it's French. And
are you sure it's not just a branch off of World According to Garp?
Maybe.
Garp bit Bonky.
Yeah, he bit that dog's ear.
Or Bonkers, whatever.
I don't know. That is the most... when you're like flipping around HBO and it's just like there is nothing on. It's like, all right, I'll watch this because I kind of get some of the, this is referenced in something. I need to find out what it is. Anyway, no, but it's about Man Bites Dog is about a kind of like an amateur filmmaker following kind of a gangstery guy around just his day.
Okay.
And ends up being kind of accessory to murder. The day just keeps on getting like, he's a thug, he's a thief. He's like a underworld kind of guy. And anyway, it's really interesting. But
it says he's a witty, charismatic serial killer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Who holds forth at length about whatever comes to his mind.
Yes, he's talking constantly.
Wow.
Anyway, watch it for a little something different. It's good.
Sure. And that looks like, is it French?
Yeah, yes, French. I think it's French. Yeah, guys, you got to read some subtitles every once in a while if you're going to see some of these weird ones. Just deal with it. So
Blair Witch, you want to finish up on...
Yeah.
We can talk about Blair Witch for an hour because it was a lot of fun. It was.
Yeah. You have to take it as a whole with all those other, like the little, fake documentary and, all the things. Didn't we play a Blair Witch video game at some point? I swear we used to play one, like for the PlayStation or something, or the PS2. I vaguely remember.
I don't remember that. Sure. Was it just Silent Hill?
It's a lot. I mean, that's basically what it is, except you're in the woods instead of in a creepy town that turns into hell at night or something, and a siren goes off. That's what that was about, right? As Above, So Below, another French...
Yes. I've seen that several times, and
Mhm.
it's real trippy.
Yep. I really liked it.
I enjoyed it.
Now, I don't know if I'm looking at the right one. It says it's an American horror film. I guess I just assumed that it actually was a French movie. I don't know.
Because they're just, going around the catacombs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was French as well.
Yeah. It's supposed to be set in France. But anyway, so are we, because I have so much more to say about, there's some really good ones. Do you want me to go on, or do you want to flip back to yours and talk about another one for a while?
We can flip back and forth, because if you're staying with that genre,
Yes.
we got a lot to talk about.
Okay.
At one point, and this is in the trivia of IMDb for Blair Witch Project, it's just talking about Heather asking if they had any weed.
Mm-hmm.
After she dropped out of acting, she got work as a legal grower for medical marijuana.
Cool. It's interesting, I guess. I really enjoyed her performance in the movie, and I think a lot of people, I remember when the movie first came out, a lot of people saying that kind of turned them off, all of her, it's not like she's hysterical through the whole thing,
Right.
And neither, all three of those people were, kind of starting out actors.
Mm-hmm.
The only job that they had to do is just make it seem believable,
Right. And I think that was because there wasn't much of a script, and they were just given kind of a treatment and said, run with it.
Improving a lot of it.
Before the film was released, the three main actors were listed as missing, presumed dead on the IMDb.
The little things like that add up to.
Yeah.
That's.
When I watched the little documentary thing before I went to see the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched that little 44-minute special, I don't know how many times, because I was kind of obsessed with it. But at the end of the movie, it showed the missing poster.
Oh, right. I remember that.
And I paused it on that and was able to get real close, and you could read the phone number was a 555 number. And at that point, I was like, okay, none of this is real.
you put your big pipe down that you had been smoking and took off that weird little hat, Sherlock Holmes.
My job here is done.
Mm-hmm. Click. You just turn off the TV. Your wife's like, I was watching that. I'm like, well,
yep.
Case closed.
The teeth found by Heather near the end of the film, supposedly Josh's teeth, were real human teeth supplied by the director's dentist.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say the old lady that in the trailer park just took her teeth. Here, take mine.
The hair actually belonged to Joshua Leonard.
Okay, good. It was all stringy and weird looking anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, we could continue talking about this. There's so much on it, and it's so freaking fun.
Yep. We'll do one of yours, and when we come back, I've got another one that pairs really well with that one. So
sweet. So my second movie that I watched, and granted, let's just tell the audience too that we set out no rules on this whatsoever. This is just a highlight on horror movies for Halloween.
Yeah, that's a good,
And truthfully, I wanted to do the same kind of thing and go with a subgenre.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going for like the babysitter murders.
Yeah, sure.
Like the early slasher films, like everything. Because we kept talking about the different movies that were the calls were coming from within the house.
Right.
And since I kept breaking down different things that were confusing to me within IMDb, different movies and such, I thought I could keep all those straight.
That's, you got to do that.
And then just went off and started watching whatever I wanted.
Cool. So, I like that too.
Basically, just looking for certain films led me to other ones saying, ooh, this looks good. Let's try this.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of a movie roundup when it's not, they're not your first pick, but try this too.
So I watched, you know what? I'm going to skip to my third movie. This was the third movie that I watched. And I watched X-Ray.
The Man with the X-Ray Eyes?
Nope. Just X-Ray. This was also known as Hospital Massacre.
I don't know either one of those names.
I hadn't seen it either. This was 1981.
Gosh, I can't even find it. Okay.
And this stars Barbie Benton. And I was like, I know that name, Barbie Benton. How do I know Barbie
Benton? She was
Benton?
married to Hugh Hefner, wasn't she?
They were together for the longest time.
Right.
Yes, she was a Playmate, but she was never Playmate of the Year.
Huh, interesting.
Way to put her in her place.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, X-Ray, I'll read it off here. While receiving a routine checkup, a woman finds herself stranded on the hospital's 8th floor, while somebody dressed as a doctor is intent on her never leaving, even if it means killing any staff member who comes in contact with her. Dun, dun, dun.
That must fill up the whole front of the VHS box.
Yeah. But this was a Golden Globus production.
Okay.
And this really reeked of Golden Globus, too.
Right.
There's a certain style that they adhere to, it seems like.
Does Barbie Benton get partially nude at any point?
Yes.
Okay.
And really, working in a hospital and watching this film and seeing the different tropes that I don't know if back in the early 80s, late 70s, anything was like this, but the movie is just set up that she's going to the hospital to get some results on an X-ray that she had.
Okay.
She's getting checked up. She's getting a new job, and they wanted her to get a workup for her new insurance. That's really the basis of the film.
So at the very beginning of the movie, it really drills down on like insurance companies and like how they are just. How long do you think before it shows her boobs?
It's quite a ways. Why, are you trying to look at it?
No, I'm just curious.
She has I'll just say it. I mean, she was a Playmate, but she has some strange looking boobs.
Huh, interesting.
So
how would you,
you want me to rate them? I would say 4 out of 10.
Draw a picture of them and then email it to me.
All right. You're like, this looks like pepperoni pizza. What are we talking about here?
I just want to see your interpretation of them.
But anyway, the beginning of the film actually shows 2 kids playing with a toy train in the living room, and the doorbell rang, and she goes to the door and she finds this envelope, and it's like a Valentine, won't you be my Valentine?
Oh, okay.
And it has Henry's name on it or something like that. Harry or Harold, whoever, just a kid who has a crush on her, and they end up just laughing and throwing the paper on the ground and, going back to play with the train. She goes to get some cake, which she pulls out the biggest knife out of the cabinet drawer to cut this cake with. And then when she comes back into the living room with the cake, she finds the other little boy was maybe impaled or hung up on the freaking coat rack.
Okay. Gotcha.
The coat tree.
Okay.
He's just kind of dangling there. And it's just kind of strange.
Yeah. She's like,
yeah.
More cake for me.
And cut to older Barbie Benton going to get her X-ray results. So somebody's running around the hospital wearing these rubber gloves and a full-on mask and breathing really, really hard.
That sounds like student bodies.
Or Jack Palance just in a normal day.
Wow.
Just having...
Does he have asthma, maybe?
Maybe.
I don't want to make fun of him if he has asthma.
He's dead.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Nothing sacred on this podcast.
That's so true.
So when she's trying to go find her results, it's like the killer is one step ahead of her just to set her up so she can't leave this hospital. She's just going to get results.
Yeah. And somehow he is...
Yeah, somehow he knows where she's going and her steps. He distracts the doctor and kills her up on the 9th floor, which is being fumigated. We keep going back to this 9th floor, and it's just a hazy fog of like fumigation.
Right.
that people are constantly walking through and coughing.
Probably shouldn't breathe that, guys.
Exactly.
If it kills cockroaches.
Switches out her x-rays with somebody who is just riddled with cancer.
Okay.
So,
to just freak her out?
They keep her waiting for the longest time until one doctor she talks one doctor into actually looking at the results because she's been there for 2 hours just sitting in the hospital.
This is showing a giant lump down here, and I don't see anything.
But she didn't even get to see the results. She doesn't know what.
Oh, I see.
So the doctor looks at it and is like, "Oh man, this girl's really, really sick. We need to detain her.
She is almost dead."
So they hold her against her will in the hospital.
Like,
it's super strange.
Right. She's like under hospital arrest or something.
And at one time they tie her down to the bed.
Jesus Christ. It's not like she's insane or anything. That she's just has all the cancer, and the doctors are like, how is she walking around? She has every cancer.
But there are several different actors in this that are playing like mental patients.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there is a woman that I am positive is being played by a man in a wig.
Ew.
But the three women keep showing up in they are up on the 9th floor with the fumigation. I don't know, constantly. They just keep wandering around the hospital together. Before she gets actually sent to this room, the one doctor decides, okay, he needs to examine her to see what's wrong with her. Has her go behind this screen to change clothes. All right. And she changes into this real skimpy hospital gown that actually just barely goes past crotch level.
Right. Well, is this the 70s? That's 81, so that's fine.
After he tells her, get dressed in a gown, she sits up on the bed and he just completely undresses her. In order for me to examine you, you have to be naked. He actually brushes her hair over her shoulders. Ooh, and it was real strange.
Yeah. Now this guy, does he end up being the killer?
No.
He's just another complete fucking creep.
Yeah, and he's got a stethoscope, and he's like going over every inch of her chest and gratuitous boobies.
Mm-hmm. He's like, well, you got 2 big lumps right here.
Yeah, I think I need to check these out.
Ew.
It goes on and on. There's some notable deaths in it. One guy who gets his face dunked into some acid.
That is such a go-to for some of these, just boiling people's faces and.
Mm-hmm. Well, the effects on this guy's face.
Good.
I mean, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It was almost. It made me feel like
Halloween 2.
Not necessarily Halloween 2. I was going with more of Fulci. You know how he likes to boil people's faces off.
Yeah, his looks like so gross.
One particular scene where Barbie Benton is roaming down a hallway and gets behind one of these screens to hide from the killer who's stalking her.
Uh-huh.
Or she sees a shadow and she gets behind the screen. This screen is easily not covered 2 foot off the ground.
Right.
All right.
Definitely going to see her legs.
But she's in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
The killer comes around the corner and is just kind of standing right beside her and breathing. He can't see her.
Right.
It is obvious somebody is standing behind this.
Right.
And it's super odd. So she's running all through the hospital. And I mean, she even runs into like a room where there's 3 people that are in full body casts. And
I love those.
That are just like, making monster noises.
Right. It's like, can we just knock those guys out so they don't feel that they've broken every bone in their body?
Did you pull up X-ray on IMDb?
I did.
Okay, look at the pics and look at number 5.
Okay.
And that's Barbie Benton sitting on the...
They actually show some skin in the pics for this.
That's when he brushes her hair over her shoulders. And is looking at
this guy's a fucking creep.
Oh yeah, big time.
But I mean, it's why we're all here too. Also, so he's just, and this being a canon movie, I mean, like, of course they did Life Force, where a girl is basically nude the entire
film
movie. Entire movie. There's so many nights I'm like, oh, I want to watch that again, and then I look at my wife and I'm like, oh, she is gonna really have some. She's gonna have some questions for me. How's Barbie Benton's acting, I wonder?
Not.
Kind of hit and miss.
This plays on the trope that girls still can't do anything for themselves.
Complete idiots. And they have to be drug around by the arm to every scene that they're going to be.
Right. And her being, detained in this hospital,
that's fucked up.
So far-fetched.
Right. You don't do that.
Mm.
You don't just detain people because they're too sick?
No.
Okay. You heard it here, guys.
I will say, and this is a big-time spoiler for the end of the film, somehow she dumped some flammable liquid that was actually marked flammable liquid onto the killer's face.
Right. You got to have that in a hospital.
Oh, it's very necessary.
All the kerosene lamps.
Well, granted, everybody's smoking in this hospital too. So because it was the early 80s, it was fine. Smoking didn't kill people. People killed people.
It's actually healthful.
Oh,
it's got like
I believe so. You got a discount on your insurance if you were an avid smoker.
Right, exactly. They're like, oh, he smokes a pack a day. He must be healthy as a horse.
You better up that, though. You need to up your
2-pack. Yeah, go ahead and take it to 2 packs.
At the end of the film, though, she gets up onto the roof of the hospital, sets the guy on fire with the lighter that she's been carrying around, and I don't know how because there weren't any pockets on her gown.
Yeah.
There was barely a gown on her gown.
Right. So somehow, while she was running through the hospital, she's like, oh, thank God. I'm going to need this later.
Sets him on fire. He goes to tackle her, and she actually moves out of the way in time, and he flips over to the side of the building, and this fiery lump of mannequin flying off the building and hitting the ground was just hilarious.
Right. Yeah. I love those when they didn't really kind of flesh out the body, so one of the legs will be like, ooh, just like bending in a way that you wouldn't. It's like they just threw a big doll off the top of the building.
I mean, that is good stuff.
I don't know if I like X-Ray or Hospital Massacre as a title better. What do you think?
I like Hospital Massacre because this really didn't have much to do with X-rays other than the fact that beyond switching out the X-rays, after the creepy doctor checked her out and there was a secretary that was typing up the report, the killer goes in, kills the secretary just so he can switch out the report and puts it back in the typewriter with his bloody hands, just so the doctor comes in and finds it and says, oh, this girl is really sick. Well, doctor, she just typed up what you wrote. If you didn't understand...
Yeah, that's really stupid.
Yes, pretty silly. But the director...
Yes.
Interesting enough.
Are you saying Boaz or Bose? Okay.
Boaz or Bose Davidson, whatever you want to call him.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the reason why I chose this as my second film today is because Bose Davidson... or Boaz, whatever you want to call him.
I think it's Bose. I think you're right.
But he also directed The Last American Virgin.
Okay, with the girl from Twin Peaks.
With the girl from Twin Peaks, and Diane Franklin as well. But if you look down on that list, also Brian Peck, who was the director of The Willies, the writer and director, is also in Last American Virgin.
Wow.
And that was not planned. I did not follow
Right.
this movie to get to that movie. Somehow it just happened to have a weird coincidence.
That is really weird.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Scuzz wrote and directed that. That was crazy.
But it's the only thing they ever let him do. So
Right. Right. That's okay. You're done.
Bose or Boaz, whatever you want to call him.
Man, we got to find out.
We really do. This guy's been around for a while. He's produced a ton of films.
The other two, the Golden Globus guy is probably just like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just mountains of cocaine and just let's see what we can put together.
He directed a movie called Hot Bubblegum.
Gross.
Not even going to read it.
It sounds disgusting.
In his producing credits, you're looking at all sorts
yeah.
of weird shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. But a lot of horror stuff, too. There's Octopus, Spiders 2, Breeding Ground, Replicant, which I think we've talked about before. That was a Van Damme movie.
Yeah.
No Code of Conduct. That is a Golden Globus film.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
And hold on a second. Holy shit. I'm sorry. Should not have brought that up. No Code of Conduct was written and directed by Bret Michaels of Poison.
No. What?
I shouldn't have clicked on that. Charlie
No.
Sheen and Martin Sheen, Mark Dacascos.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Paul Gleason, Courtney Gaines. I should not have clicked on that. I apologize, everyone.
Yeah.
Please just fast forward this podcast for another 3 or 4 minutes because I'm not going to be able to stop talking about this for a few. So just fast forward.
I need to put like a child lock on it or something. Bret Michaels. You should be. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I should. But there's a ton of movies that this guy did, but he also did a bunch of the Rambo shit. I mean, he produced, I thought there were like 3 or 4 Rambos, but there's so much shit. I'm kind of blind right now with how much he has on here.
There's probably 5 Rambo movies, I think.
And I could be getting him mixed up with somebody else too. Disregard this.
Okay, good. I'm glad we don't have to try to say his name anymore.
Yep.
X-Ray, it has a couple of qualities of a movie that I watched yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, the killer is working at like a supernatural level to get all of these little pieces of his bigger plan together. He would have had to have been in like 10 different places at once for all of that to happen. And then so much of it is decided by what she does next. And it's like, well, how did he know that, just doesn't add up sometimes. But I watched, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Beyond the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Leslie Vernon, yes.
And it pokes fun at that, because he's pulling out these like microfiche articles and replacing them so that the girl he's stalking will, find him and kind of build on the urban legendness of it all, And he explains how a supernatural killer can do that.
Okay.
I mean, he's not a supernatural killer. He just does a lot of cardio. He's just able to run literally in the movie. He's training so that that is a great movie. It's really tongue in cheek, but then just whoever made that, I don't know a lot about that, honestly. Whoever made that really made some cool decisions on, I mean, you guys should have already seen this if you're listening to this, but they kind of do a little switcheroo towards the end that is just really fucking cool and really smart, and I love that movie. I don't know who directed it. None of the actors I've seen in anything else.
It took me a second to find it because there's a colon in that title as well.
Come on, IMDb.
But Scott Glosserman.
Mm-hmm.
Glosserman?
Yeah. You made him sound like a superhero. Just has like lip gloss or something.
And really, he's done 4 things.
I can't imagine that. Trying to think of how I found that movie.
I don't remember.
I don't either. I think it was just I just picked it at random, I think.
He's got a new film that is B4TM.
Okay.
So Before the Mask.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is
Yes.
it? Are they calling it part 2 or?
Looks like they're calling it just as a follow-up. So,
well, I'm surprised that he hasn't done more stuff because that movie was pretty awesome.
yeah. In 2001, he produced a movie or a short called No Escape Prison Rape. I just had to throw that out there. That's 7 minutes. So, also known as 7 Minutes in Heaven.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it. It's No Escape, so it looks like that movie with Ray Liotta and
right.
Remember that?
Right. Yes. No Escape. I enjoyed that movie. Yeah.
I don't know if I ever saw it.
It has Barry Pepper in it.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that guy?
I don't know. I'll have to follow him up sometime.
He was in a baseball movie, then he was in Battlefield Earth, and that was pretty much it for him.
B4TM actually says it has Kane Hodder in it.
Cool.
So,
yeah.
Interesting.
Watch this movie.
That was not the movie you were talking about,
No,
was it?
not really.
Is that
It
where
was
you
just
were going?
kind of a aside. That also has Scott Wilson and Zelda Rubinstein in it. I guess the natural way to go forward with this is talking about another great found footage. See, they use that title, but I mean, really, I'm calling anything that's kind of a POV type of, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Also, I loved in the Blair Witch Project how it was found. You know, the cans of film were like in a side of a hill or something, and they even had like kind of forensic style, like, you know, well, how did they get it in there? You know, it's this thing hasn't been touched in, you know, hundreds of years. And anyway, just another little detail that they didn't have to put in there, but it just made it so much cooler. But no, Paranormal Activity, made in 2007.
The first one?
Mm-hmm. Another shoestring budget movie that went on to make like a gajillion dollars. I don't know what it was. It was like, it just had one of the biggest returns.
Oh, yeah. Try to see here. Budget was $15,000. Here you go.
And made $193 million. So, I mean, like,
crazy.
But also, that was kind of interesting. I want to look deeper into how these movies are made because, I mean, and I think that this probably was made like that too, where Blair Witch had such an improv kind of feel to it. But it said it was $15,000 production cost and then an extra $215,000 in post-production. So, you know, they had all this footage, but then they, you know, again, like if those effects that they used to make it like a, you know, closed circuit camera or like a VHS, like an old VHS tape, I think they really allow them to do some cool CGI stuff that normally probably might not look too great, but then they have those layers of...
Gotcha, yeah, I'm right there with you.
Doctoring over it. But I love this movie also. This is another very, like, divisive movie. Like, Blair, there are some people that just, like, refuse to watch Blair Witch because they just can't. I don't know what it is. It's too real for them, maybe, that they just think it looks like a reality TV show, or I don't know what it is. But to me, it just makes it creepier, you know, like a very realistic, you know.
I dug this movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, you know, not necessarily the mythology when you get behind the sequels and how they're connected, and just show me some cool shit, some cool ghost shit. I'm happy.
Yeah. Kind of like Poltergeist, you know, they had just enough of an explanation that just made it so much cooler. And I mean, you can kind of get bogged down in like trying to create the storyline for them.
There was a Paranormal Activity 2 Tokyo Night.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tokyo Drift. Like there was in a car.
That's what I thought. I was like,
I don't know.
There's a foreign version of Paranormal Activity 2.
I mean, this again, kind of I mean, this is just the best of kind of the clones that came after Blair Witch, I think. Because they had to have had Blair Witch in mind, when they, kind of go to that formula, and kind of a documentary formula. But yeah, I've seen it a bunch of times. I remember my wife and I watching it for the first time. And when she gets kind of drug off the bed, I think it's like the first real physical thing that happened.
Was creepy shit.
She was just like, put her head like under the pillows and could not watch the rest of the movie.
Well, they made that look so real.
Yeah,
too.
They really did.
I'm glad you brought this up because even though it's a newer film and people are, probably going to dog the shit out of you for bringing it up, but I seriously enjoyed it.
Yeah. Like I said, there are people, I don't know why. It's just, they just can't suspend their disbelief or something. They just can't stand these type of.
And actually, I think part 3 was probably one of my favorites.
That's not the...
That's when they were kids. It was like the prequel.
Right. Yes, that's awesome. I was kind of reading on that because there's been others now. The marked ones, which I have not seen yet. I think it got pretty good reviews.
It was okay. But there's a new Untitled Paranormal Activity sequel in the works. It's been announced.
Well, and nowadays, like, it actually being a sequel and having a number in it, I don't know that means... I mean, I always think of them being lesser and probably worse than the original, But now, I mean, that's not true. There's sequels that are better than the movies that they were based off of. So, like Human Centipede 2.
Paranormal Activity 2 made $180 million at the box office, but it had a $3 million budget. Part 3 had a $5 million budget, still made $200 million.
Yeah. Also, there are so many, like, I don't know if it's Asylum, like the people that do those, like Sharknado and Lavalantula and all those. I don't know if they are behind some of these, but you know how they, like, trick people, like, they'll just slightly change the title.
Gotcha.
And
Paranormal Entity.
Yes, exactly. They make it sound just enough like it that... and I don't know, are people renting those or clicking on them because they're thinking...
Not anymore.
Right. I mean, it's like they click on it once and they're like, okay, you got me. Very funny. And where's the fucking real movie?
Just how we got a listener from Costa Rica. It was the same thing, right?
He thought it was about, like...
It had to be an accident.
I don't know. Looking at our logo, I wouldn't know what you would think it is. Maybe that's a failing of ours. We can talk about this after this one's over. But anyway, yes. It's creepy as shit. Has a good runtime. Just not a lot of... I mean, you are kind of standing around a little bit watching just footage. Watching a... I mean, I've got a camera in 2 rooms in my house,
One's the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. I'm pervert on...
I think Paranormal Activity kind of went down this whole road and made it rewatchable because you're watching the background.
Yeah,
more
you're
than
paying
you are
attention.
You're trying to catch things moving.
Yeah.
And little subtleties.
Yeah.
And
man, if you've got your home theater setup cranked up, great for like ambient sound and it really like ratchets up the tension.
I dig it. I think I'm going to keep saying Paranormal Activity 3 because there was the one scene with the ghostly sheet.
Oh,
the sheet walking.
Oh, cool.
In and out of the scene because he put the camera like on an oscillating fan, so it kept turning back and forth.
Right.
And each time it went back, this ghost in the sheet would go a little closer or something. It was just creepy as shit.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it.
That's cool. I imagine after some of these movies, it's like, we've done everything else. What can we possibly...
Yeah, what can we do?
Yeah.
How many times can you throw open the cabinet doors and throw all the pots and pans in the floor?
Right.
For the original, though, that was creepy shit. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of Oren Peli?
Yeah.
Peli. It's Peli, isn't it? Peli.
Don't know. We're fucking up all kinds of names today.
Mm-hmm. And this says it was filmed in 10 days.
Yeah. I mean, also, as an actor, like, oh my God, I just made a bunch of money for not a big investment.
Mm-hmm. And this was filmed in his home, in the director's home.
Oh, yeah. I think I read that somewhere a long time ago. I mean, and, you know, it had no budget. Like Blair Witch, it did have a huge marketing push behind it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I think they started watching it and they were like, oh boy, we really got something. I definitely saw it at home. Yeah, it was right before Halloween. It came out in 2009 on October 16th, so it was just the perfect timing, perfect marketing.
I dig it.
Yep.
I dig it.
While I didn't get to watch it for this thing, so I might watch it pretty soon now that Halloween's coming up.
And that's what all of this is about. Let's get creeped out for Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm thinking you did a better job than I did this week.
Well, come on. X-Ray?
I'll kick it up a notch. Well, I went down a slasher thing.
Speaking of, I just read that there's another little plot line in X-Ray where it's happening on Valentine's Day. Like, they really tried to cram in all of the tropes of a slasher movie.
And it really, the only thing that happened to point out Valentine's Day was the little kids at the beginning where the kid dropped off that Valentine card.
Yeah.
And, of course, he's the killer, but you don't know what he looks like because he's older and he's actually playing one of the dogs. It's silly.
Yeah, you have the reveal of him is like not great. Not as exciting as...
Yeah, they had to use a series of flashbacks to let you know, that's who this was supposed to be.
That's like Sleepaway Camp, where the flashback is so, like, confusing. I mean, not confusing, but it's just, like, pointless, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is that those slasher movies, the best ones, I think, correct me if you don't think this, but the simpler they keep it, I mean, I do like the backstory. Like Friday the 13th, perfect slasher movie. It has just enough of a backstory to make it creepy, but I don't think they get like bogged down in,
right.
All the specifics and, it has to be just this way. But then also I feel like they panic and they're like, well, how are we gonna, he's basically can do anything. He's a supernatural being. We might have to explain how he just like shows up in different places. But then you get stuck in that and it's, better to keep it simple, I think.
Right. I agree. All right. So you ready for me to go on to my third?
Yep. You go ahead.
Because this is where I wanted to start. Like I said, I went all over the place, but when I was trying to go for the calls of coming within the house, and I brought this movie up plenty and plenty of times, and it has nothing to do with the calls are coming within the house.
Great.
But I didn't remember it.
Your own premise can't even stick.
Right. Can't even keep to it. I went with He Knows You're Alone.
Okay.
This cover, I think, is an awesome cover. It's just a girl with her hands up to her face and screaming. 1980.
Okay.
Okay. It reads, a young bride-to-be is being stalked by a serial killer in Staten Island.
Oh, man.
She gets help from a former lover, but will they manage to escape? Dun, dun, dun.
I don't even think that deserves a dun, dun, dun.
No, it's there's not a whole lot to it. And really, the serial killer is basically just killing women on the eve of their wedding.
Gotcha.
Why? I don't know.
Hey, Tom Hanks is in this.
This is Tom Hanks' first feature film.
Wow. See, that would be enough to get me to watch it.
Let me scroll down here and verify that. that was correct.
What do we got? We got Mazes and Monsters.
Yeah, He Knows You're Alone was 1980. First credit before The Love Boat and Bosom Buddies started in 1980.
Man, I love Bosom Buddies.
And 1982 was Mazes and Monsters.
Cool.
Now, he just shows up as a a friend of a college student. I don't know. He looks really young, and yeah, he's trying to be nice and quirky. It works. It really does work for him in this film.
Cool.
But he's not a big role.
Right.
Now this film, I think, was totally either in sync or ripping off Halloween.
Okay. What year did you say this is?
This is 1980, so Halloween was 78, right?
Okay, yeah.
But Halloween 2 was 82, I think.
Okay.
But this sounds like the score could have been done by John Carpenter.
That's saying something.
The scares, not so much. And the same thing, it has the same trope that the woman can't do anything by herself.
Mm-hmm.
This does have James Rebhorn in it. Really young. He's 34 in this film. And he's playing a professor who is banging one of his students.
Okay.
And I'm sorry you have to see him that way.
Yeah.
The student he's banging is Elizabeth Kemp. And Elizabeth Kemp came back to play in The Clairvoyant, who is also directed by the same guy.
Okay.
The director of this film is Armand Mastriani.
Okay. That sounds delicious.
Mastriani.
That's a sandwich, isn't it?
It's a double-decker sandwich.
Yeah. I think he was married to Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, too.
This guy also directed Cameron's Closet.
Oh, that's another way back one for me.
That was 1988 for Cameron's Closet.
I remember that I had the Fangoria that first kind of talked about Cameron's Closet, and I was so excited to see it. Also get it confused with Cellar Dweller, and I'm not real sure which one is which.
I think I got it confused with The Woman in White.
Lady in White?
The Lady in White? Yes, The Lady in White.
I love that movie. Are you talking about the one with Lucas Haas? And
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That was a great movie.
The director also, he did the TV movie for The Ring, which I clicked on. Not the same thing.
Okay.
So
Good.
don't even bother.
Killer.
That was Natasha Kinski and Michael York in a Danielle Steele film.
My God. How much more 80s can you possibly get? That's painful.
It was very painful. That was actually 1996.
Wow, really? Oh my God.
Horrible. That's why I clicked on it. I was like, oh man, really? And no.
No
really.
thanks. Unless Nastasia's, well, never mind.
Yeah. But he directed like 8 episodes of Friday the 13th, the series.
Also Tales from the Dark Side.
You see that. So, very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But He Knows You're Alone. I was going to say Paul Gleason. I've already brought him up today because he was in one of your films. Paul Gleason is in this. Dana Barron, who plays... she played Audrey in the National Lampoon's Vacation.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's why she looked familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. They changed the kids on us, and it was...
But this was an interesting film, and I think mainly because of the music.
Okay.
The music really made it. What was strange about the plot, so our main character, Amy Jensen, played by Caitlin O'Heaney.
Okay.
Really, who is she?
Hasn't been in anything else?
She was in Wolfen.
Oh, cool. Love that movie.
She was in an episode of Spencer for Hire, Silver Spoons, St. Elsewhere. She was in 3 O'Clock High. And I think she was playing a teacher. It's Miss Farmer.
Okay. Yeah, she's got an 80s, like, kind of...
vibe.
Yeah, just... There's so many women that... I mean, like, Jo Beth Williams and Bailey from WKRP in Cincinnati. And they all have big glasses and big coats.
I enjoyed this movie. I mean, it was fun. Her ex-lover boyfriend, Don Scardino,
yes,
who plays Marvin. Is that where you were going?
Yes.
Okay. He works at a mortuary, So we get to trap, around the same type of hospital setting, but there must have been underground catacombs
Right.
in this, that because there are just desolate hallways that they run down over and over again.
Right.
In fact, I don't know why the director or cinematographer thought we wouldn't notice the girl running one direction and the police officer and or Marvin coming up the other direction. They would have crossed paths.
And they're just having the actors like run back and forth.
Exactly.
Come on, guys. Do better. Well, all I was going to say is Don Scardino. I really had to look at it. He's got slightly different hair. But he is the main character in Squirm.
Oh, awesome. Yes.
They kind of electrify the the earthworms and just crawl into people's faces.
Oh, that is awesome. I did not get that.
And he's such a, he's like the hero, quote unquote hero of Squirm. And he's just like, if you were in high school with him and you didn't even have to be a bully, you would dump his books at some point because he's just such a wormy little creep. But now you're saying he's like works in a mortuary, and that adds up.
He was also in William Friedkin's Cruising.
Oh yeah, with Al Pacino. I've never seen that movie.
Never have either.
It really tackles a difficult topic that I don't know if... Man, I can't imagine what that thing looks like if it was made in the 80s. I don't know if I'll ever see that.
No. But moving on, there's actually several scenes within this movie that really, really made me think of Halloween 2. It just had that feel.
I love Halloween 2. I mean, not to get off topic, but I really... It's a toss-up. Who is the villain, Michael or Donald Pleasance? Because they each do an amount of damage to buildings. I like.
Yes.
There's a creepy shot in the stills for this that is like a mannequin. It looks like a mask with like real eyes in it. It's very creepy looking.
I see what you're looking at. If you see on picture 35, there's a scene where he's riding on top of the car, which also made me think of Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
When Michael gets on top of he climbs over the car to get
Oh, yeah, I see. He's like looking down. Oh, well, now, wait a minute. So, okay, I'm sorry. Am I confused? I thought the red-haired kid was the bad guy.
No, he is not.
No. Okay, cool.
Throughout the entire thing, I guess that he's the ex-boyfriend of the girl who's getting married, which we never...
her husband?
ever establish her fiancé.
Is he in it? I mean, is there...
Not that I remember.
That's an interesting choice.
And actually, she's questioning marrying this guy from the beginning. But you don't ever meet the guy. I don't remember ever seeing the guy, but this other guy, Marvin, is just constantly trying to...
Get in her pants.
Yeah, get in her pants. If you look at the picture 32 of 53, there's another reason I remember this movie. Is the head, severed head in the fish tank.
Not very well done, but it's...
No, because there would be blood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One thing I remember from this movie, and you might actually remember this scene, and maybe it was like in Terror in the Isles or something like that, because one of the girls that was killed, that I guess was also one of the newly to be married brides, whatever, went to the movie theater and was sitting in the movie theater with a friend watching a horror movie, and she gets creeped out. And somebody sits behind her, and during one of the frightening scenes that they're watching in the movie and everybody screams, the killer shoves a knife through the back of her seat and severs her spine. I can only assume because she dies immediately.
I like that.
I don't see this scene in any of the pictures.
No, I don't either.
You would remember that because it's almost like... I think the exact scene happens in Foul Play.
Right.
Even. But Foul Play was way before this.
Right.
But anyway, I kind of remember that. I don't remember seeing this movie. After watching it, it didn't seem that familiar other than those few scenes.
Right. I didn't even recognize this movie. I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's worth a look-see. Look down at picture 33 and you get to see the young Tom Hanks.
Oh my
wearing
God.
a bandana around his neck.
Yep, I saw that. I'm glad he stopped doing that. I'm sure it happened at least once during Bosom Buddies, but I'm glad that fad kind of went away. It's very strange.
If you see there in picture number 34, I believe that is young Dana Barron standing next to Tom Hanks in line at the carnival.
Gotcha.
So,
who was the brother that they changed on us in European Vacation?
It went from Michael Anthony Hall to, I think it was still Michael Anthony Hall in part 2, wasn't it?
No. European Vacation is a redheaded kid, and I can see his face.
Okay, because they changed him to Johnny Galecki in the third one.
Right.
No, don't make me look that up.
You finish your thing. I'll tell.
I'm derailed now.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have.
Was Dana Barron not in part 2?
No.
Did they switch her out too?
Yes. Oh, it's the kid from Night of the Creeps. That's why he kept on. I just was bugged by that. He's the main character in Night of the Creeps. He's Chris in Night of the Creeps.
Okay.
So
hey, this is actually Dana Barron's first movie too. He Knows You're Alone. So interesting.
Cool. I mean, I love a good slasher. You know?
Oh yeah. And this one is
You didn't sell us on it.
No, I really didn't. There's a scene with James Rebhorn and this Elizabeth Kemp, and they're just doing foreplay, really, chasing each other around the house and being giggly. It was very unnerving.
Yeah. I don't like that. Don't like that.
Don't like it.
It surprises me so much that Don Scardino is not the bad guy. Because I just knew I was like, okay, well, he's the bad guy.
No.
Obviously.
Actually, they kind of do like a double take type of thing. I think the movie starts off with the, first kind of kill where the girl's getting ready to be, she's getting ready to go walk down the aisle. She's in her little dressing room and then somebody walks in and she's like, oh, it's you. And then she gets killed.
Right. Yes. That's a classic
open. And they kind of end the film kind of the same way. As spoiler alert, it's like she's getting ready now to get married to Don Scardino.
Oh, I see.
And her original fiance, which we've never met, shows up to kill her.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like a full circle type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting.
That was He Knows You're Alone. Written by Scott Parker, who wrote one other thing called Die Laughing.
Okay.
Which had Robbie Benson in it, and and Charles Durning, and I'm quickly clicking off of that.
Wow. I think we've had enough Durning for the entire.
Are you calling a moratorium on Durning?
I am. That's what we're calling it now.
Okay.
Even if you find the perfect movie that you want to talk about it, if it's even been around a Durning, we're not doing it. He died of butter poisoning. Did you know that? It's one of the first cases of. And he wasn't eating it. It was like the girl in Goldfinger when she's, you can't like paint somebody completely in gold. They'll like suffocate, He coated him in his entire body in butter and passed away. And he ate all those sausages too.
They couldn't keep him still in the casket. He was just sliding around.
They couldn't grab a hold of him. He just kept on sliding out of their hands. What are you going to do? But he went with a smile on his face. So,
if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
I don't know where I watched He Knows You're Alone. It may be on YouTube.
Okay.
I went all over the place. There was only one that I had a hard time finding. And that's going to be my last film that I watched with my wife. And I'm not going to tell you what that is yet.
Wow. Okay.
It is now in your court.
Okay. Well, 2 people can play that game. I'm not going to tell you what this movie is. I'm just gonna give you little clues, and then here in the next couple of hours, you have to
call you back and say, "Oh my God!"
Yep. You solved it. Wikipedia has a big list of found footage movies, and maybe we should just pick a couple that we've seen. And Troll Hunter is on here. Do you ever see Troll Hunter?
I love Troll Hunter.
That was they're calling that a found footage movie. Well, I guess it is.
That was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For being a foreign film.
Right.
And actually, we shouldn't behold ourselves to the rules that we cannot do foreign films. I mean,
no.
By all means, there's nothing wrong with that. Did you watch Train to Busan?
Yes. Loved it.
Great movie.
Yes.
I think they're actually trying to redo that for Americanizing that movie, and I don't think that's really necessary.
Okay, so I lied. I really do have a last movie that we watched not too long ago, and that's another example of when we Americanize one, like Record, REC.
Mm-hmm.
Quarantine is the American version of that. I would almost say I like Record better if you could just mash all the best parts of both of them together, but both of those were awesome movies.
Really, I don't think I ever watched Record. But I've seen Quarantine. I never watched Quarantine 2.
I have not seen that one either.
But no, I enjoyed Quarantine. I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
It had the girl...
Yeah, Dexter's wife.
Exorcism of...
Dexter's sister wife.
Yeah.
He's married to her in real life, right?
I think they did get together.
Okay.
Are they still now? I have no idea.
Well, maybe we could have an update on that next time, because I really care about those guys. Anyway, that's a good example of that, kind of The Grudge and The Ring. And it seems like every time the American version of The Ring was freaking awesome. I guess it's a lot of those movies are made for a lowered budget when they're foreign films, and then we get a hold of them, and at least there's that where, they have a little bit better, like The Grudge. The Grudge when the thing comes down from the attic it's a little kind of stuffed animal looking, or it just doesn't look great. And then we did it, and, just the effects are a lot better.
Interesting. Okay. Update. Jennifer Carpenter is divorced from Michael C. Hall.
Oh, that's sad.
They were together for 3 years. Anyway, just thought you would.
Great. I'm glad I know that now.
Yeah. And her sister is a chiropractor. Yeah, that's...
Oh, I need my back. I need something.
So, are you talking about Record now, or are we talking about Quarantine?
I guess Quarantine. It's probably more... I mean, you should probably watch both of them, but...
I've never seen Record. And then there were 2 sequels to that, too, right?
Yes, exactly.
Have you seen all 3 of them?
No. I have seen the second Record... And it's, it throws a couple of, kind of new ideas in there, but it's basically kind of the same. I'm looking now at Paranormal Activity 2 Tokyo Night. What is going on?
I don't know. I'm interested.
There's a Paranormal Activity 2 that does not occur. I don't know. That's weird. Okay.
Very weird.
So my wife and I watched the Poughkeepsie tapes yesterday.
Okay.
And
how do you spell that?
Poughkeepsie.
Gotcha.
That is awful. Now, at least on Wikipedia, it starts off, the Poughkeepsie Tapes is a 2007 American mockumentary horror film. I did not get mockumentary out of that unless you are a complete. I mean, I guess you could look at it as, yes, it's funny that he is, it's just a serial killer movie that he tapes everything, and it's very kind of BTK.
I so want to watch this.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's real creepy. They really doctor up the footage that you're watching a lot to a certain point where he videotapes everything that he does. You'd think at some point that he would upgrade his camera because you can hardly see anything sometimes.
Yeah, there's a picture here, 26 of 37, that just shows... this had to be like the first generation VHS recorder.
They put every effect that they possibly could,
I don't know why I thought this was some government conspiracy type thing just by the title, so I never looked at it.
Yeah. It for sure sounds like one.
Yeah.
But there's one scene in particular, and whoever, if you're listening to this, you probably know which one I'm talking about. There's one in particular that's just basically the best part of the movie, and I don't want to spoil alert, but don't put any spoilers because I'm going to watch this. Yeah, just watch it. It's on. We watched it on Amazon, so.
But this is the same director as Quarantine.
You're kidding me. I did not put that together.
Yeah, John Eric Dowdle.
Interesting.
He also directed As Above, So Below.
Are you kidding me? You'd think I would at least pick up on that.
Yeah. He directed Devil.
Oh.
Which was M. Night Shyamalan's story. I did not realize Shyamalan did not direct that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
an interesting movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, I like the name of it.
Poughkeepsie Tapes was 2007, and that was before Quarantine. So
You're right.
I am definitely putting this on my freaking list.
Yep.
There's nobody really in it, it looks like.
No. It switches back and forth between kind of a documentary, kind of looks like something you would watch on ID, Mm-hmm. It was definitely creepy. I'm surprised that my wife made it all the way through it, but I mean, they're calling it a mockumentary, which is, I guess, it's pretty dark is what I'm saying. Don't go into it thinking it's you're not going to get many chuckles out of it, I don't think.
Okay.
But, yeah, that's a good one. I mean, a lot of these newer ones I don't really want to spoil, but I can give
don't give me any spoilers.
The Taking of Deborah Logan.
I was just looking at this girl, Amy Linden, who is in the Poughkeepsie Tapes. She has 110 credits. Some interesting things in here. She was in the house that Jack built.
Okay, yeah. Watched that recently.
I watched it. I'm still not sure how I feel about it. Hold on a second. There is another movie. This is not the one I'm thinking about. Sorry. This is 2009, The House That Jack Built.
I mean, I guess it is a phrase that you would think had been used before.
I'm sorry. I threw you off on that.
Well, you should be.
She was in a movie called, a short film called Sugar Skank.
Oh, my God. I've got to see that.
Slaves of Hollywood?
Who are you talking about again? Amy Linden?
Amy Linden. I just was looking at her because she actually had some credits, but all of it's just crap.
I couldn't tell you who she is in the Poughkeepsie Tapes. I don't even recognize the person.
She's probably just a victim.
Yeah, I think so.
She was in a couple of episodes of Freddy's Nightmares.
Oh, cool.
She was in an episode of Ugly Betty. You should have picked her out.
Oh, maybe.
There was a movie called Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield.
Okay. That
had Kane Hodder in it.
Oh, man.
Playing Ed Gein.
I don't think so.
That is correct.
It would be cool if Ed Gein was like a, a football linebacker size, like, creep.
I think they're stretching the story a bit.
Yeah, you guys are embellishing a lot.
But yeah, she was in that. She plays Mrs. Geen. That's
Mrs. Geen, his mom?
Either his mom. I don't think he ever got married.
No, he was not. No, he was married to his work. Is what he was. He didn't have time for many of them.
He's married to that flesh lamp.
Ew. He created the flesh lamp. Which is sad because he would have made a lot. He could have gotten that mental help that he needed. Mental health help.
Poughkeepsie tapes. Let me get back on that.
Well, there's not a lot to say about it. It's pretty classic, serial killer stuff.
I love falling asleep to, unsolved mysteries.
Yeah.
Anything on the ID channel or forensic files. Is this kind of the same feel that you get from this?
Pretty much. There's a lot of screaming. I mean, he really could have figured out how to, I don't know, duct tape something. But yeah, there's a couple of real creepy scenes in it that made it worth it. Have you seen Hell House LLC?
That sounds familiar.
I think I saw it on Amazon also, and it is really good. It is a pretty new 2015.
Yeah, 2015. There's part 2 and 3.
Yeah, it was a huge hit. It was a big, I think it was a big Redbox rental. Or
I have not seen this.
There's several movies like that now. The House That October Built. Have you seen that?
Yes.
That's another one that's about what do you call those? They're spook houses, but they're, the ones where people can kind of grab you, and over the years they've just gotten more and more intense, and now you have to sign waivers and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it says. On the house that October built, 5 friends are stalked by a group of mysterious and disturbed individuals while on a road trip looking for the ultimate haunted house attraction.
Starring Pat Morita and Jay Leno.
On Hell House LLC is 5 years after an unexplained malfunction causes the death of 15 tourgoers.
Wow.
Was a malfunction?
Yeah.
Tell me about said malfunction.
I don't know. And what happened? I mean, it's not like a ride that they're on.
Yeah.
Would the house catch fire or something?
I don't know.
Also not a malfunction.
So it looks like this guy directed all 3. Stephen Cognetti.
He did this in his spare time from being a used car salesman or something.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Stephen Cognetti.
Hey.
Come down here and drive the brand new Buicks. I got your Buick Skylark here. It's in mint condition. It's a one-owner car that he was a serial killer and he kept his bodies in the trunk, but we cleaned all that up. I'll give it to you for a fancy, fancy low price of only $54.99. Yeah. This is me doing you a favor here.
Yeah, because we're friends.
Yeah. You don't want the car? What do you mean you don't want the car?
Right. It's in mint condition. We found a bunch of mints in the ashtray.
That character is
he going to come back to talk with us again?
Maybe so.
Hopefully not, but maybe so. Now I have to watch The Taking of Deborah Logan. I've heard that it's good. I have not seen it.
I have not seen it. That is a found footage?
They're putting it on the list. Yep. Which, all of those exorcism movies from the last few years, I think they are considered found footage because they're all filmed like that. Emily Rose, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
We went to see that in the theater together, and you were very disappointed.
Yeah, I probably need to watch it again. Maybe it was just a mood I was in. Maybe I had a tum-tum ache or something. Apollo 18. Have you ever seen that?
No.
That's been a few years back. It was weird stuff on the moon. The Bay, not Beyonce.
And not Michael Bay?
Michael Bay now refers to himself as the Bay.
Yes, I remember the Bay, and it was
It scared me.
that was a parasite,
Yes.
wasn't it? Something like, yeah.
I think they're on like maybe the East Coast or something, and basically the water flowing into their bay is just completely toxic. There's like a chicken farm, and there's like even like nuclear waste that's been dumped in there, and it causes a big problem. But again, I really enjoyed it, and I don't really want to give away a lot of it. So
no, that was fun. It seemed like it was probably like a Korean film that was made.
yeah, like they took the idea from something and just
Yeah.
They're calling Creep a found footage movie. Which,
I was just clicking on
Yeah.
that, which I wouldn't have felt that way either, but I guess it is kind of a...
I mean, I would say documentary style rather than
Yeah.
found footage, because, I mean, what does that make it? I mean, the term found footage means, I mean, I would assume it means in this sense that the people that filmed it are dead. I don't know. But yeah, Creep was good. There's a couple of parts in it that it was a kind of low-key freaky,
Mhm. I enjoyed
It
it.
was good.
And they made a sequel too, I believe.
Yes. I have not seen that one.
I have not either.
But
They're also showing like Unfriended,
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
Web.
I liked Unfriended.
This is like the sequel, which was Dark Web.
Mhm. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. I think I watched that one. But they're calling that found footage as
Yeah.
well. So, it's kind of loose.
Yeah. I mean, this Lake Mungo, did you ever see that?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that it was one of those...
8 movies to die for or something like that.
Yes. Which I kind of lost track of that. Are they still doing those?
I don't think so.
They did it for a couple of years. And
That was kind of fun.
And some of them they're real hit and miss. Sean Astin was in that one, oh man, Borderlands, maybe? It was kind of about I think it was about a bunch of Satan worshipers,
Okay.
which is cool.
Here's one called Willow Creek. Willow Creek is a 2013 independent found footage horror film written and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait.
What? Oh my God. Putting that on the list too. I've heard of that.
Really?
Yeah. I think it got some good reviews. I had actually heard of it before. I love Bobcat Goldthwait.
But I don't know of too many things he's written and directed. Yeah, I saw him in Tulsa at the comedy club.
Really?
Yeah, that was
back
fun.
in the day or recently?
You think I've been out of the house recently?
Oh, that's right.
This was at least, well, it was before my wife and I got together, so it was 25 years ago.
Hot to Trot's another good found footage movie.
I guess he's written several things. It shows Sleeping Dogs Lie. I don't know what that is. World's Greatest Dad, God Bless America, Skylanders, Giants. No, he was just starred in that one.
I have not heard of any of those movies.
Nope.
I just remember him. Whose chair did he set on fire? I think it was David Letterman's movie.
Something like that. Anyway, lots of found footage stuff that I would like to take a look at too, because I've enjoyed those. I don't think my wife likes to watch them because anytime you have like a shaky cam, she's worse than I am.
Really? About just getting nauseous?
Yeah.
There are some that are... that's why I at least appreciate like a Paranormal Activity, or at least the camera is fixed to something,
Right. Or even when they hooked it to that oscillating fan and it was steady pan.
Right, yeah. Oh, The Last Exorcism. I think that's what I was thinking of when I said the Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which I liked that one. That was pretty good. Some creepy shit. They're calling Human Centipede 2 found footage.
Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I watched the first one and...
I mean...
I
didn't watch it.
It was like on a dare. You didn't
Yeah.
sit and you flipped through it and said, that's enough. Okay, I can click past that.
I think the second one was a little more refined and they kind of like concentrated on the thing. Well, Also, it was just full out madness too.
Well, the guy, I think the scientist, or they're calling him a scientist, or the doctor or whatever, I thought he looked really evil in that one.
Yes, he does, definitely.
There was a movie called 13 Cameras.
Okay.
12 cameras, 13 cameras. There's like several of these movies. And if you're talking about like found footage type things, that kind of fits, I think, in the same kind of category.
And I've never heard of those. They are horror movies?
Yes. And they have the same guy. There's 13 cameras, 14 cameras was like a sequel. This guy who plays the lead creepy guy, click on 13 cameras and just picture number 2. I mean, this guy's his name is Neville Armchabolt.
Okay. Definitely not a made up name.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This guy is just
insane.
He plays that part. He is that part.
Right.
I'll just say that.
Is the actor also the director or something?
No, I don't believe so. No.
Oh my God. The director's name is Zarkov.
Yes.
Gotta know it's good.
But that might be something interesting to look at too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just weird.
I do recognize the cover. Yeah.
The guy's pick of Neville Archibald, his pick on IMDb makes him look like a real tough guy, but he just looks like a real creepazoid in these films. So.
He kind of looks like Richard Jenkins a little bit, but only some of the insane faces. It's called The Landlord in...
Yes.
It actually has a couple of different titles.
So that might be something.
Slumlord is one of the titles.
Yes.
Yeah, I might find this.
All right. Are you ready for me to go on to my final film that I watched this week?
Let's hear it.
Next week may not be as plentiful. I'm going to try to make it as fun, but this movie actually was one that probably could have made it into the Moratorium actual podcast because I think there's a lot for it to go on. And it was one of those movies that I remember because of one scene. And once I bring it up, you're going to say the same thing. You'll remember it because of that one scene. Right. Don't necessarily remember the rest of the movie.
Right.
And it was 1978.
Okay.
It's called The Legacy.
Ooh, I know the box art immediately.
Yes. It's the cat's head and the weird hand sticking down.
Yes.
And the cat has 2 different colored eyes.
Oh, right.
But this has Catherine Ross, which I don't recognize her right off the bat, but she was the psychiatrist in Donnie Darko.
Yeah, I recognize her from the Stepford Wives.
There you go. But Sam Elliott is very young and very fit, and I think he was 34 when this came out.
Does he have the stash? I haven't seen it.
Oh, he does.
Yet. Okay, good.
Oh, he does.
I think it's disturbing when he doesn't have the mustache.
Picture 19.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is a real Roger Daltrey's in this.
Exactly. He's just playing himself, I think.
Right, yeah.
But
a giant hair haver.
You can see his death on picture 42.
Yeah. There's one, picture 17 is Sam Elliott apparently kicking the shit out of the groundsperson for whatever castle they're at. He is really, his leg is like he's about to just kick this guy's balls into outer space.
Right. And this guy is 80.
Yeah,
that he's
come
going
on,
up against.
Sam. What could he have possibly done?
This movie's kind of set up, and it made me kind of think of our Italian horror flicks, right?
Uh-huh.
It's just set in the UK.
Yeah. It's got a foreign feel to it.
The movie is set up that the girl and Sam Elliott are, I don't know if they're married. They're together.
They're doing it.
And she gets a job in the UK as an interior designer. They have this massive, huge house, which is awesome.
It's a castle.
Right? They make it to riding motorcycles around the English countryside when they get run off the road accidentally by this This Englishman takes him back to his castle, basically.
Okay.
His huge house.
Is it Charles Gray? Is he the guy that owned? I was clicking through and I saw his face.
Oh my God. I didn't make that connection to Rocky Horror Picture Show. I did not when I was watching this.
Yeah. His face is like amazing. His eyebrows have a life of their own.
Uh-huh. The basic setup for this film is that he's just taking them back to this castle while their motorcycle's being worked on. And weird shit starts happening. There's a bunch of people that show up, and people keep getting killed off one by one. The most notable death, and the one you'll remember this film from, is the girl swimming in the pool, and she's coming up from the water, and she's trapped under the water by this invisible force field or glass or whatever. That is what I remembered from this film.
There's a picture of Sam Elliott looking at, I guess, the ring. This ring plays a important part of the movie. And he's got it like on one, I can't get it on his finger. It's just stuck on his middle knuckle. And he's looking at it like it is a snake or something.
They don't necessarily...
It's just a thing that...
explain the rings. But there's 4 or 5 people that show up to this mansion. They each get killed off, and I'm just going to give you a spoiler alert because this is 1978. The owner of the house is sick and upstairs in a room. You can see him. Let's see which picture that is. Right there. How about 27? And he says basically that he's trying to pass on his legacy.
Okay.
And in order to do so, you have to have 5 people. And 4 people must be sacrificed in order for the legacy to be passed on to the 5th person, which is basically the devil passing into you. Satan is inhabiting your body.
Nothing's free. His eye in that is gross. Super gross.
Not good makeup.
No, it's not. I can see his healthy skin just starting at the neckline there. It looks like they carved the rest of that out of like bologna or something and just like slapped it on his face.
But he's talking like this.
I need to know what those wires are doing.
The brain waves. I don't know.
Stimulating his forehead.
It was kind of fun to watch. It had some scenes that were laughable. When they try to get away, as happens time and time again, that they're trying to leave, and they, for some reason, they're not allowed to leave.
Right.
Like he tells the driver, "Keep the car here. We'll be right back."
That driver's not gonna.
No, the driver takes off, and he's running after the car after a while. This is all Sam Elliott trying to be a tough guy and just getting shut down.
Right. Exactly. This is one situation where your mustache is not helping.
Right. And that fight scene that you saw him trying to beat up the old man, he's just trying to get away and everybody's trying to stop him. So he is fighting everybody.
No holds barred.
Just taking it on.
It's like body slamming a cook.
You get some action when he's on the horse, too.
I love looking at the action when he's taking a shower.
Oh, do you like that action?
Can you imagine how long it takes him to dry off?
Just the stash alone.
Hours.
In that shower scene, the water, I guess, gets super hot, and he crashes through the glass door, and cuts his back, and
That's funny. I mean, you'd think you'd feel it getting hotter, like just open the door. It's not like you locked yourself into the shower.
But it was cool to see him as a young stud.
Oh, yeah, dude. Boy, his TV career, there's a lot of stuff going on. Lancer, Bracken's World.
I had no idea what Bracken's World is.
So Sam Elliott was in Frogs in 1972.
Okay.
That's another, like, I'm thinking a lot about these just killer animal movies, you know?
His name's Pickett Smith in that film.
It's named after a fence. Joan Van Ark.
I saw that.
man, a lot of TV people.
He played Evil Knievel in a TV short.
What is a TV short?
I don't know. It's 30 minutes long.
Ooh, I'm getting some good material from the Frogs page alone on IMDb.
Oh, yeah?
I really want to see this again. I'm sure it's awful, but like I love a killer animal, animals gone wild type movie.
But no, this was a lot of fun for watching Sam Elliott.
Yeah. And it sounds like The Legend of Hell House and all that stuff was around this time.
But really, there were a lot of scenes that were a little long and drawn out. And it's only an hour and 42 minutes long, but it just really seemed longer. The director, however, is the director of Return of the Jedi.
What?
Yeah. Very interesting.
Oh, now that's weird. I did not know that. He did Jagged Edge and Nowhere to Run. Oh, is Nowhere to Run the one with Richard Gere?
No, that is Van Damme.
Oh, okay. Whoops. I almost mistook it for a slightly more competent movie.
Yeah, but actually, he wrote that. He didn't direct it. He died in 1987, 6 or 7 years before Nowhere to Run was actually produced.
Joe Esterhaus has a writing credit on Nowhere to Run also, which is weird. That dude was responsible for so much shit in the 80s.
Basic Instinct.
I guess 90s. Yeah, cool. Sam Elliott, man, that mustache is just so... I mean, you have a reaction to it when you see it. It's like Austin Powers looking at his mole,
The moly.
Moly. And of course, he was in Shakedown. All right, well, that's the end of the podcast. Can't get any better than Shakedown and Roadhouse were back to back. He did Shakedown in '88 and Roadhouse in '89. He was fucking on fire
until he did Fatal Beauty. Wasn't Fatal Beauty a drug? And that's what
I cannot tell you.
You've never seen
it? I don't know. That was directed by Tom Holland.
Fatal Beauty?
Yes. Tom Holland's so great. We need to, well, I should keep that to myself, but he's going to come up again before Halloween.
All right. Well, you have anything else to offer with horror flicks? I think you gave us a whole list of shit to look for on found footage.
Everybody has their homework cut out for them. And remember, don't watch too many found footage movies because you'll get sick of the whole genre and then you'll...
Yes, just go watch Human Centipede. And...
Human Centipede Part 2, full sequence. We might talk about Host next week because I'm going to watch it in the intervening days. I don't think we talked a lot about VHS, which is also... You know what? We'll have a follow-up to this.
Yes.
And maybe we can view a couple of these and...
Well, next week, I think we're going to continue the same thing. Just watch as many horror films and talk about as many weird shit. Just get you prepped for Halloween coming up.
Awesome. Maybe we can have a checklist on Twitter or Instagram or something.
Okay.
I'll get to work on that.
All right. Get right to work on it.
Oh, and go see Frogs and Squirm. That's a good double feature.
All right. Do we need to follow up anything with The Hidden? We totally glossed over that we watched a movie last week, which actually kind of kicks off this Halloween fest.
Yeah. Space Bugs, people from Twin Peaks. People from Twin Peaks, that's a real theme we've got going on.
I think so.
I'd have to watch Fire Walk with me when Halloween's over. Just to talk about it.
Did I tell you I walked out of that at the theater?
No.
Yeah, because we had never watched the Twin Peaks show. We had never seen any of it.
Twin Peaks.
So when we walked out of the movie, we were like, I don't know what the fuck we're watching.
Well, hey, spoiler alert, you have the same reaction if you've seen all of Twin Peaks. So we did have to watch it after watching the series. It's David Lynch. He's polarizing. You either love him or you hate him.
And you could still do that in the same film.
Yeah, of course.
All right, well, let's shut this bitch down.
All right. Okay, well, you guys have some movies to watch, and we'll do this exact same thing again next week.
And this was kind of fun. Unfortunately, now I've got to go on a total different direction next week because
Shifting gears.
I don't want to venture into the movies I may have already mentioned during this podcast.
Right.
Can we give you a whole new outlook
Okay.
on horror films?
Sounds like you're making a life change.
All right, we did it.
All right, we did it. Well, look us up on Instagram and Twitter and all the social medias, and
there we go. Forgot all about that.
Buy a plague mask from.
That's right. It's washable.
Yeah.
Do not put it in the dryer.
Okay, good advice.
Just putting that out there. Yeah, definitely buy some merch. Look at some T-shirts. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we might have something new to share.
Cool.
And I've been playing around a lot more with Photoshop, and yeah, we'll see if I can't crop my head onto a sexier actor. So
the oiled up guy from Lost Boys playing the saxophone.
That's it.
Man, everybody wants to be that guy. All right. What do you think, Podcat?
That's a sick cat.
Yeah, I need to take him to the vet. It's been way too long.
All
right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to a special edition of the Moratorium. Not quite Toyotathon. This ride's more like a Chevy citation. We're working hard to bring you quote-unquote quality entertainment. So spread the love. Please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. Also, check out our website at themoratorium.com. There you can find a link to our blogs, but also a link to our merch. There's a special edition Moratorium tee just for this movie marathon. Feel free to drop us a note at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Next week, join us for part 2 of this mega movie Monster Mania. Oh yes, there's more. Stay safe, happy Halloween, and thank you for listening. And, long live VHS.
He died of butter poisoning. Did you know that? It's one of the first cases of